Welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at my desk setup for 2023. Throughout 2022, I made a lot of changes to my desk setup. And then while I was adding the last thing to my setup at the end of last year, I went ahead and added a TV unit from IKEA. But when I was shopping for the cover for it, the only thing they had available was an oak top. And that didn't really match my walnut desktop. So I went ahead and switched back to this oak one from IKEA. My wife was using it, so then we just swapped desks. She took the walnut one and I kept the oak one. Now this light wood tone is really what was driving the whole design around my setup. My desk legs are white because the TV unit is also a white, and I really like having a brighter setup, so I went ahead and kind of matched everything around that. The desktop accessories are also all white. And then I also have black as a secondary color. So you'll see all along the walls, all of my pegboards are black, as well as the accessories on top of the TV unit. Now this also has to do with me being in an apartment. I can't really paint the walls, and they put this kind of warmish white color on the walls. And I found that whenever I use a white pegboard, all of that yellow from the wall actually bounced into the pegboard, and it really gave it this washed out warm white to the whole office. So instead I bought the black pegboards because this really helps in absorbing the light. And then I also bought these acoustic panels so that I can put up on the wall behind my monitor. And I made the main part of it being black again because it absorbs the light. And then the light gray also helps bouncing that light around and covering a little bit more of that warm white wall, which honestly really adds to the desk setup, to the vibe, and it makes this desk setup probably one of my favorite ones that I've made, which is why it's going to be my main one for 2023. And as of right now, I honestly can't see upgrading or updating it, at least for the whole first half of 2023. Now, I am by no means a designer, but I really like the way it looks. By design, it's asymmetric. It's really left hand heavy because of this TV unit. And again, this has to do with the design of the apartment, the design of where I set it up. On the right side, there's a wall that's actually way shorter than the left side. So I found that having that TV unit in the back there on the longer side of the wall actually really works. It also works for my YouTube setup so that whenever I set it up here, I have a corner to shoot up against where I can fill this side here with a bunch of stuff alongside the TV unit, and then I can have my desk set up here, and it kind of gives me a little bit of that corner angle so that I can make it look like a little bit larger space. And I really have a setup that I can always go back to whenever I need to film another video. If you have any suggestions on how I can make this better or upgrade it in any way, let me know down in the comments. I do read through them and I reply to almost everyone. So make sure you let me know down in the comments what is an upgrade that you think I can make to this space to make it look a little bit better. One upgrade that I did make to my desk setup was adding a TV storage unit. Now this is the best storage unit from IKEA. It has doors so that I don't really see the mess that's inside. But at the same time, I did learn to organize my space. That way I only keep things that I need, only things that are essential. And I'm kind of taking into this new year the whole concept of essentialism. I want to have this space be minimal and only keep the things that I need, not have multiple things of everything, not just fill it up with tech and accessories everywhere. Because I honestly think that clutters the space, and whenever I have a cluttered space, I find that I get distracted more easily. I fidget with things a lot more. So instead, I'm going the essentialism route and only keeping things that are essential for me to continue to make YouTube videos. Which brings me to the second part of my home office, and that's the organization. And like I mentioned at the beginning, I do use the IKEA pegboards kind of as some type of organization and display things on the wall. These are the black ones from IKEA, and as you guys can see back here behind me, I have two of them. One of them is on top of the TV unit and the other one is on the other wall. And these are kind of more of display. Again, this is kind of my YouTube shot, so I have these to be more of a display, but I do use the items on there. I just don't use them as often as my third pegboard, which is over here. You guys can't see it. This one holds all of my mechanical keyboards. I have two different ones that I switch between. I have the Keychron Q5, which has a number pad, and I use this whenever I work from home, whenever I need to be typing up a lot of numbers. It helps a lot to have that number pad, so I keep this Q5. I've modded it out to have the glorious pandas, and it also has a PBT fans white on black, but I didn't buy the full kit. So as you guys can see, the number pad is white instead of being black because the keycap set I bought didn't come with the number pad. The second keyboard I have here is the Logitech MX Mechanical for the Mac. And this is honestly a great keyboard if you're looking to get into a low profile keyboard. Before, on the other video I made for the MX Mechanical, it was really rattly. It was kind of a lot of plastic. And even though this one's still made of plastic, it does feel a little bit better. I'm not sure if it's just a different iteration or because that's how the unit started getting better with time when I bought the first one at the beginning, or if this is just because this is the Mac one. But this one does not rattle. It still has that plastic feeling, so it does still feel cheaper than something obviously like a full-on mechanical keyboard, but it's low profile and I do have wrist problems. So I like using this one. And with the Logitech Logi Options Plus app, you can actually customize a function row to have macros, and you can set it up to be whatever key combination you want it to be. And then obviously I have the rest of the keyboard accessories like switches, and then anything I need to mod it out. I have some lube, I have the keycap puller, the switch puller, I have all of that in the last little section here down at the bottom of the pegboard. Now the ones behind me, like I said, I don't really use them. One of them holds my PS5 accessories. I have the controller and the headset. That's for whenever I play some Warzone, I can just take them off of that pegboard and then just get straight to gaming. The second one has batteries, which I did put stickers on so that I always know which ones are full and which ones are empty. That way I know which ones I need to charge and how many I have whenever it comes for time to film. And I obviously have some art prints on both of these pegboards. I really like this. Like I said, I'm kind of taking the essentialism route for 2023. And this quote by Dieter Rams, less but better, is kind of what encompasses everything that I'm going to be making and doing, and all these YouTube videos that I'm going to be talking about. It's about having less things, but having a better, whether that's focusing only on one thing, which is going to be for me making YouTube videos, but also showing you guys and showcasing what products are going to be the best quality so that you guys don't need to constantly be buying new ones, constantly be upgrading, or that you guys need to have multiple ones when one single product can do multiple things at once. And speaking of multiple things at once, my desk is a sit-stand desk, and it's not one of the fancy ones that you see from other home office setups. It doesn't have a fancy screen. It actually doesn't even have preset or custom set height adjustments. I got this one from Amazon whenever I bought a cheaper desk. I found it for about, I think, $90 or $80 when it was on sale. And I bought the desk, but I didn't use a desktop, but I did keep the legs. The desk legs are very simple. They only have an up and down button on the controller, but that's really all you need when you need a sit-stand desk. You just need it to stand up and sit down. It's nice to have all of those extra functions, but they're not necessary, which is why I still use this one. I mean, I found it for $80 compared to buying other desk legs that are going to cost you upwards of $200 or $300 depending on which one you go with. And all that you really get is having those preset custom ones or having a nice digital screen so that you can adjust it. Again, not necessary, but if you are someone that likes all of that techie side of things, you can go ahead and go with one of those. I will link some options down in the description. And for the desktop, I went with this oak one from IKEA. This is actually one from a desk setup I believe I did at the beginning of last year. I had this one for over a year now, and I really liked the way it looked, especially now, like I said, in combination with the TV stand that I had back there, both of them being oak tops. They look really nice. They paired nicely, and with the white legs and the white Vesta storage unit, they honestly go really great together. The desktop hasn't failed me. It is a little bit thinner than you see on something like the Carlby, but it holds up its weight, or it holds up the weight of the whole desk itself. I have a monitor, I have monitor arms, I have studio monitors and everything else, and it hasn't like really bothered me once. I see no warping, and it can hold up even microphone stands, and it just has held up really great for the past year, and it doesn't really stain as easily or mark up, which I really like. As for all of the tech that I keep on this desktop, from left to right, I have my PS5, which again I use for gaming. I'm not really a hardcore gamer, so as you'll see with my monitor, it's not really the best for gaming. It's just a simple 60 hertz panel. It's a 32-inch 4K monitor. But again, I don't really game all that often. So when I do, it's nice to have a 32-inch screen, and I have it here on my desk because I like to game in a monitor after I've gotten used to gaming on something that's really close to me, kind of having that more, I guess, better hand-eye coordination. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe if you're a gamer, you can also feel this, but when I go onto a larger TV, maybe a 40-inch TV, I feel really slow. I feel like it's really difficult to turn, especially on first-person shooter games. So I really like sticking with my monitor for my gaming setup. The monitor is from LG. Like I said, it's a 32-inch monitor. I've also had it for over a year. It hasn't given me any problems. 60Hz panel. It has, I believe, 2 HDMI ports, 1 display port, and that's all I really need. I just hook up my USB-C dock as well as my gaming monitor, and that's all I need. And it's really mostly for work and all of the work-related tasks. So again, it's not really the most fanciest, but it is a 4K 32-inch screen, which I think is essential, especially if you're working in spreadsheets. Being able to see a ton of rows and a ton of columns really helps you rather than having to zoom out and then everything gets pixelated the further you zoom out. Now, I do have a light bar on this monitor, which I really suggest that you get. Now, if you saw my previous video on the Lume Cube one, you don't need to go with the Lume Cube one. Actually, I suggest that you don't get it just because it's really expensive for something that's very similar that you can get on Amazon. So make sure you check out that video. I'll leave it up here so that you can go ahead and check it out. I'll also link it down in the description. It's something that is really necessary if you do a lot of writing or a lot of reading at your desk, because unlike a task lamp, the light that's coming at you is coming from above or sometimes even from the opposite side of the desk, depending if you can move your monitor back and forth rather than coming at you from the side like a lamp would. And when it comes at the side, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but when you are writing, if it's coming from your writing side, you're going to create a giant shadow over the paper that you're writing on, which can be really bothersome. So I really like having this task lamp coming from above the monitor so that I don't get those shadows on the paper that I am writing. Now, I also have some monitor speakers, which these are the Edifier MR4s. They're supposed to be studio monitors. I don't really use them to edit all of my audio. I actually use headphones whenever I'm editing audio, but these are really great for listening to content, whether it's from YouTube or whenever I was watching the World Cup. I sometimes threw it up on this monitor and it was nice to have these speakers. The computer speakers or the monitor speakers are actually downward firing, so they're not really that great. So having a set of dedicated speakers has been really great whenever I'm sitting here at my desk and I just want to watch a video. I do have them hooked up to the monitor with a Scarlett Solo so that I get a good quality sound out of it. I do use some of the balanced TRS cables, which help bring to the studio monitor some good sound. And I do also use the bass and treble adjustments. I went ahead and adjusted the bass all the way up because I really like feeling the bass whenever I'm listening to a video or watching a movie or something that just has a lot of bass in it. I will also link the USB-C dock down below. I think it's an essential for you to get for your desktop if you're someone that likes having a one cable solution for everything. This one is from Moken and I got it off of Amazon for less than $100, and it does have 7 different ports, which helps me connect everything to this dock and then just using one cable that came along with the dock to connect it to my MacBook. And speaking of my MacBook, the 2 main things I use for editing that also sit on my desk are my iPad Pro with the M1 chip and the 2021 MacBook Pro with the M1 Pro chipset. Now, the MacBook Pro is the base model. I didn't really need anything more. I just need to edit my YouTube videos, which come off of my Canon R6. So I don't need all the extra bells and whistles. And I knew I didn't need extra power when I came from actually the Mac Mini with the M1. And that was more than enough power to edit my videos. So whenever I upgraded, I just wanted something with a screen for whenever I went to a coffee shop. I wanted to still be able to edit these videos without having to always be at my desk. The iPad with the M1 chip, again, I upgraded from the iPad Air about 6 to 8 months ago, and I only upgraded because of the screen size. The iPad Air with the whatever A processor before the M1, the iPad Air 4, was more than enough to edit all of my photos, which is what I use this iPad for, along with watching content on it whenever I'm on the treadmill or whenever I want to sit on the couch and browse something while I throw something on the TV. Now, I'm not a power user of either of these devices. I don't really use them to do many things. They have very specific use cases for me, but I am planning on switching that up in 2023. I'm planning on looking at all the app options there are out there, and again, finding the ones that are the best apps for these devices. So if you're someone that's looking for that and you're interested in following along the journey, make sure you get subscribed, because throughout the year I will be sharing what apps work best for these devices that are for someone that wants to get a little bit more out of their iPad or out of their MacBook. So get subscribed, because I will be looking at that throughout 2023. Now, the last part of my desk is the cable management, which is under the desk. I bought this cable tray from Amazon for about $25, and I have a surge protector attached to it with zip ties so it doesn't move around, and I just hook up everything to it. I do have cable clips that attach to the desk with 3M tape, and I use that to kind of route all the cables around, as well as using the monitor stand to kind of hide some cables or keep some of the cables. And also the desk legs have a little bit of hole punch along the side of the leg, so I use those as well to just zip tie cables. That way I'm using that instead of 3M, because from my experience, any double-sided tape, including the best 3M, either messes up your desktop or falls off with time. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is the lighting. Now, a lot of people have really great lighting, but for me, throughout the week, I honestly don't use that great of lighting. I use the one that came with the apartment, which is the fan light that's above me here. I just turn it on and I just get to work. I have, like I said, that taskbar or the Lume Cube monitor light that I use most of the time for my desk. And then I have that on to kind of give the rest of the room some light, but I don't use anything fancy. I do have a newer CB60 light up here with a lantern softbox, which I use for things like here on this video or whenever I'm modding a keyboard. It's nice to have better light coming kind of from the front of the desk rather than from behind me. So I do use that, but that's only a special use case scenario. 90% of the time, I'm using the one that came with the apartment. But that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Again, remember, if you guys have any suggestions on how I can make my desk setup better, leave it down in the comments. I'll make sure to check all of your suggestions out. And also leave a comment down below of which tech accessory was your favorite one from my desk that you think you're getting for yourself. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.